Is a July 4th crash incoming? Today we're going to be breaking it down for you. It is important because there's going to be some things happening, I think, this week. I want to thank our sponsor today, and of course, that is Uphold. If you are holding crypto right now and not earning rewards, you're essentially leaving money on the table. And the reality is, in today's market, you need to be able to move instantly. That's why Uphold's flexible staking is such a game changer. You can earn weekly rewards automatically on assets you already hold without a lockup. That's most important. You can sell anytime. It's the perfect setup for anyone who wants to grow their holdings without losing their exit strategy. Download the Uphold app today and try it for yourself. First thing I want to do is start off with this tweet right here, and that is, I think this pretty much says it all on its own, guys, right there. $500 billion has been erased from the U.S. stock market today. Leading in there is NVIDIA. Micron, which remember, Micron was pretty much the poster child for what we've seen in the AI trend, but also in the sense of what costs are being related into hardware. And of course, we've talked about the Apple increase already. All these things are starting to impact now on the market. Mag 7 lose over $2.3 trillion in June. This is their worst month ever in a year. Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon, Alphabet, Tesla, all erased $2.3 trillion there. So guys, a serious issue. I get it that probably long term, this is still up and the group is down 10 in June, but on course for its worst month, but it's down 3% for the first half of the year. So if you're in here short in recent runs, you're still behind the 8 ball. I want to go to a clip real quick. This one will go into how the stocks are keeping up momentum. Take a look.
Which, as we said, is best quarter ever. But throw up now a 1 month. We've been questioning what momentum. Look at that. A little more choppy. A little more volatile. Leaves the open question of, is it going to be a momentum-led market in the second half or not?
I still believe that it will be. I think a lot of the reasoning why momentum has trailed in the month of June is related to the Mag 7. For the month of June, each one of those is down. But yet collectively, when you look at them on the year, only Meta is really the name that's down.
I only need to show you this one chart. This is a thing that would own Flextronics and every other component supplier or vendor to the CapEx build out. And of course, Micron's in here, et cetera, et cetera. They sold these stocks all year because these are the companies doing the spending, cutting the checks. What do we think for the second half? Well, tell me. Are the check writers about to all of a sudden stop writing checks? I don't think so. If you think that all of a sudden something's going to reverse the earnings growth that's powering that equal weight tech index, okay, tell me what it is.
One of the things that he's hitting on, and I think the market is hitting on right there, is who are the winners and losers here. You look at what has been happening with Micron, and remember, let's not forget that even Trump himself has been out there pumping on Micron. And this is an interesting company because when you look at the deep dive on Micron and some of the deals that they're making with some of the suppliers, or I should say their vendors, being a supplier to them. Remember, Micron making these chips that are memory chips in every PC out there, every computer out there, and especially when you get into things like Apple, which is causing all this price gouging that I think is happening right now. And it's not over. This is the point. Apple's already claimed that this is still going to continue to go. So you could agree that the market could still see some uptime, at least with some of these companies, the picks and shovel companies that are supplying this AI revolution. So that's the real question that everybody's asking. Are we going to continue to see the market push, or do we see a major pullback? Here is a clip talking about that we're all profiting. This is Trump talking. Take a look.
Well, you know why I'm profiting? Because the stock market's going up. Everybody's profiting. If you have a 401k, how's your 401k done? It's about up 85%. Thank you, President Trump. So we're all profiting. I'm profiting because I have a lot of money and a lot of cash, and I give it to institutions. I don't know if they know what they're doing or not, but they buy a vast array of things.
President Trump, you've been meeting with...
All right, they're buying a vast array of things, and of course, the market may be pumping, but crypto is not, Mr. President, and you can see it right here. Fear and greed continues to pump downward. Bitcoin below 60K. Market is definitely in shambles when we look at this, and we are setting on a potential hit on Clarity that could also be hitting very shortly. And that is a concern, I think, that's going to be going forward. Right now, 11 billion erased from Bitcoin ETFs, another major hit and drawdown in the industry. Crypto Quant now showing more than 160,000 Bitcoin have now left the ETF providers out there. This is a big deal, guys. And it's probably something that there are some people in the market who have benefited from this run up. And now we're sitting at a sub 60K Bitcoin. Where does it stop? What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Where do you think Bitcoin falls to, and how far will the market actually push? If you look at some of the OGs out there, I mean, come on, this is the Winklevoss twins now maybe selling Bitcoin. They are now moving 60 million in Bitcoin. I know that's not a lot for them under circumstances, but 7 million in ETH over to Gemini. And that could mean, all right, I'm just going to park it there. Or it could mean we're getting ready to do a little exiting and see where this goes from here. This is a big deal for the future of where crypto is heading. Other things you got to look at is what Michael Saylor has said. And Saylor is worried. And I think he should be around what has been called the AI black hole. His point, though, is this right here. AI summer ends. Those deals settle. Capital will rotate back into Bitcoin, but it's how undervalued relatively fundamental projects like Bitcoin. And then, of course, Q3 being likely the turning point going forward, and maybe Q4 normalizing for the window. So what he's saying here is make it through the summer. Q3 starts to see a little bit of an upturn, but how far do we see the red days start to slice through July and August is the real question as we rotate into Q3 and Q4. Big deals ahead, I think, when you look at all of this. And one of the things that you have to consider is this. Clarity is one of the biggest issues that we're facing right now as an industry. I want to go to one more clip because this gets into even more reveal from this disclosure. And this is CNBC kind of breaking this down to try to make a little bit of sense about this. Take a look.
And President Trump's biggest stock holdings include Amazon, Meta, NVIDIA, and Tesla.
4.7 million from, I almost contributed to that, Trump watches. I was going to buy you one. Okay, how about this question? If he was not president, would his businesses have gone up more or less?
So let's start on the world liberty business. Crypto regulations would have been different probably under a different president. Would the UAE have made a massive investment in Liberty Financial?
You have questions?
I don't know.
You know what is good? That there is all this disclosure.
Sure.
So what you saw there in that clip, of course, kind of gets into the point. I think one analyst was trying to push that, hey, this is normal, and then it wouldn't be if you weren't president, that kind of scenario. If you look at his holdings, and to his point, these are the holdings that he is in the middle of, and the portfolio is mainly focused on American excellence, they'll call it right there, and that's all the recognized stocks and things of that nature. The challenge is, to what extent does Trump have the ability to inflict profitability upon these companies? I mean, if you look at Micron, NVIDIA, Tesla, all these companies very correlated to a lot of decisions that the Trump administration is doing out there. And remember, he also owns, and I say he, meaning the U.S. government also owns stake in some of these companies that are out there, including companies like Intel. So there's a big issue that I think this really starts to boil into. But the one that really hits everybody hard, I think, is this one right here. And that is the disclosure on crypto holdings. Well, you've got it right there. Trump continues to extract from crypto, extracted 1.1 billion. And he did it through things like the Trump meme coin, the World Liberty-Fi token sales, sales of ownership and interest on USD1. Remember, that's the one that they were talking about right there on the clip. Part of Trump's stake in World Liberty-Fi. Melania, another 6 million. So these are the kind of things that are being released out there. And the timing, guys, come on. This is perfect FUD for being able to go in hard against the Clarity Act. And that is the problem that everybody is facing today. And the ammunition that they're going to use is, I think, lined up with what they think is the biggest onslaught of corruption. I want to go to a clip about that. Take it.
What is your reaction to the scale of what we're seeing in this disclosure of how much Trump is earning from these crypto ventures? Over $1 billion last year alone, right? This isn't a cumulative number. It's in 1 year. Is it legal?
I don't believe so. How can that be anything other than trading on his image and likeness in violation of the Emoluments Clause? Is something that I think the average American should be staggered by. But you mentioned the scale, and I think the scale here is just it's intentional. There's no question. I mean, we are seeing the greatest onslaught of corruption in the history of mankind in the last 18 months. And this disclosure, on top of the disclosure that he issued last month, where he listed recent trades up to $750 million in trades, many of which involved government contractors. So the grift is on. It's stunning.
So when you think about that, I'll jump back to Clarity. Here you've got Mooch talking about it. Autism Capital kind of hit it right there. You know, you're making $1 billion on 90% of the bear market. You know, thanks for playing. You guys are out there. And that's the issue that we're facing. Scaramucci comes in. Hey, this is going to be cited as the main reason if Clarity doesn't pass. Hopefully my crypto bros and sisters have gotten the message. We'll see going forward. And of course, the person that will take the hammer and use it, well, that's going to be Elizabeth Warren. Crypto legislation heading to the Senate floor must stop President and his family. All of this timing, perfect. How could you even play this out any better for the banks? Just release this, gets out of the market. You know, Warren has her ammunition and off they go to the races. And now you have Clarity falling to its lowest point, down to 40% over the last couple of days and continuing to decline. So if you guys think Clarity is going through, let me know in the comments down below. Just put Clarity yes or Clarity no. I'd love to get your feedback. Last clip I want to go to is something that I think worries me a little bit, because that it's not saying that Clarity won't pass, but it's a position that might be preparing for Clarity to not pass. Take a look.
So you guys were in the news recently. You structured a $10 million trade, a prediction market trade, over the counter with Arca, a crypto fund, relating to the likelihood that the Clarity Act would or would not become law before the end of the year. What was that?
Basically, Arca came to us. They said, you know, we believe that Clarity is going to pass, and we're going to position our book in such a way where, you know, we should benefit if it does. However, we're thinking about, you know, what is the appropriate hedge vehicle here? Probably like the best way to, you know, protect our portfolio to the downside.
So they wanted to buy no. The
Yes,
Clarity will not
exactly.
become law, because they feel that if it doesn't become law, that would negatively impact their crypto portfolio. So they want to own it as a hedge, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It basically means that if Clarity does not pass, then their other portfolio is, you know, potentially going to suffer as a result of that.
That's what they think.
And that's what they think.
All right, so there you have it. So if you're out there on Polymarket, you're looking at these odds right now, and you're looking at the hedge of what could happen if Clarity doesn't go through, and if it fails in the Senate, just doesn't get voted on, or goes to the Senate and gets struck down. What is this going to look like long-term for the crypto market? I think this is the issue that everybody's facing. I still question whether or not Saylor is right, in the sense that this is just a 2 to 3 month worry, and that this might pick up at the end of 2026. That is a concern right now. But July 4th could be the beginning of all of this carnage in the streets. So stay tuned. We'll cover more. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, drop a comment down below, and also join our free private member group. The link is in the description.